Hello everybody, welcome back to another Square More video. I am a very happy man as my driver has finally won another Grand Prix. I say finally, someone else who isn't Verstappen's won a Grand Prix. I got up at 4:45. It was beautiful. Loved it. So happy. I don't really sound it in my voice, but I will with these ratings. As you know, it is our standard 10 to 1 shenanigans. Going to be doing this in reverse grid order. Personally, what did I think of the race? The biggest spectacle of it was that Red Bull had an engine issue or brake issue, overheating issue. They don't actually know what got stuck in it, and that's, fair enough. That's all that matters. That's not all that matters, but yeah. And I guess the crash at the end and all that. But yeah, I'm going to start doing the post-race interviews. Anyway. Someone who definitely did not have a post-race interview is Logan Sargent, who I will be giving a 5 out of 10. Quite simply just because he didn't cost the team a billion, million, trillion pounds by blowing up a whole chassis and forcing his teammate to withdraw from the Grand Prix. You know my thoughts on that if you saw the previous video on this channel that I uploaded on the Friday. Next up, we have the first of the three retirements, Maximiliano Verstappen. He's getting a 9. The brake issue was not his fault. He got on pole. The reason he got overtaken in the race was because of the brake. It caused him to mess up. And yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say. He couldn't have done more this weekend. Obviously can't give him a 10 because whether the Ferraris are actually quick enough this weekend to beat him on track. Obviously we know about the other Red Bull driver. We'll get onto him a bit later. I need to actually oink. There we go. Next up we have Lewis Hamilton. He is getting an almighty 4. Now I know you're thinking, oh, but he retired with an engine issue. I don't care. He was off his teammate all weekend. Yes, the retirement's not his fault, but he was running in probably 11th, which is also where he qualified. Russell qualified in what, 7th? You just can't, I mean, I know he missed out on Q2 and was only off his team by 6 tenths, not 6 tenths, 600ths. That's not good enough though. Especially after the season he had last year, he's got to be doing better. That's all I've got to say. This is multiple times now I've placed him at around this area, and we've had 3 races, 3 out of 3. Lewis, get better. Rossmeister, he'll be getting a 6 out of 10. Whether you think the incident at the end, whether it's a penalty or not, I personally think it's not a penalty, but you've got to live with that. Russell was quicker than Lewis all weekend, there's no denying that. That's why he is 2 lots ahead. Whether he would have gotten Alonso or not if he didn't bin it is a different question. I don't think he would have, because Alonso would have defended that with his life. And yeah, there's generally not much more to say. Next up is the first of the finishers, 15th place of Esteban Ocon. He's getting a 6. Ocon got done in during the race because he had a similar issue to Verstappen, except it didn't cause his brake to explode off his tyre, so he was able to continue. He was going to Q2, which is mighty impressive, so maybe I'm even undermining his achievement, but who knows. The Alpine is terrible. Please sort it. Please sort it. Speaking of issues that need sorting, the old pit stops, although it wasn't really the issue for Zhou Guanyu this time, he's actually getting a 4, mainly because he messed up his own qualifying. It's a tough one to rank, because I'm trying to think because I was still half waking up for most of that race, and maybe I should have watched it back, but he had a gearbox, like he couldn't get it into gear in the pit thing, so he had a 30-second pit stop. And yeah, that just kind of stopped any chance of making something, which is annoying. Next up we have Botmeister himself. He is getting a 6, 7. I think we'll... Actually, I'm going to move Shogun up to 5 and Bottas up to 7. Bottas would have gotten points this weekend if the wheel nut issue didn't happen. I don't know when Sauber are going to sort this out, but like their sponsor, it needs to be kicked out. It's not good. It's not a good look on the team at all. Peter Sauber's probably crying in his Swiss home. Bottas would have gotten the first points for the team. Arguably, where he would have finished, whether it's in between the Hasses, ahead of the Hasses, I'm still unsure. It probably would. I think he would have slotted in between Hulkenberg and Magnussen. But yeah, not much more I can really say. But unlucky. He also got into Q2, which is respectable. Next up is Pierre Gasly. He's going to be on 5. Slower than Ocon in qualifying. Probably only finished ahead of Ocon in the first place because of the brake thing that Ocon had. Not much more I can really say. Just Alpine, fix your car. Someone I do have something to say about is this Honey Badger. 3 out of 10. Abysmal weekend. Oh, he was only team placed off the points, but arguably both the Saubers would have finished ahead of him if they didn't have their respective pit stop issues. He is been miles off Tsunoda all weekend, in fact all season, forget all weekend. Tsunoda has carried 6 points now back for the team, and I'm even debating whether Ricciardo could get that this season or this half of the season, assuming we haven't got some chaotic race where 4 cars finish. But yeah, he needs to sort his donkey cojones out, because that honey is going stale. Next up we have the million driver Crasher. He's only getting a 5. I refuse to give him more than a 5 unless he won the race or something. The fact that he's forced his teammate to not compete, and you know, let's be honest, we know Sargent probably wouldn't have done as well, but what if Sargent did do as well? And then you start to think he's blown his teammates' confidence out of the window because he's battered this into a wall. I can only put him on the same level as Sargent at most. He was 11th, didn't get points, albeit the 11th will probably be helpful in the future when it comes to let's say on count back results. So we'll see. Next up is the first of the Haas boys to get points, and they took advantage of the situation. Actually, yes, no, I will give you a 7. You out-qualified your teammate, which rarely happens. You got into Q2 by Ricciardo messing up his lap time, but that's on Ricciardo, not you, so you won't complain. Qualified pretty well. I'm pretty sure something happened strategy-wise. I don't actually remember how he ended. I think him and Hulkenberg went on to different strategies, because Hulkenberg was on the mediums for the second stint, and yeah, he took advantage of that and finished ahead. So whether that was the plan or not, I've got no idea. But yeah, still good race. Hulkenberg will also get a 7, just because he did much better in the race. They both got points. Just decent drives from both of them. The Haas boys have impressed me so far this season. They're both definitely fighting for their careers at this point. And after Magnussen's defensive masterclass in Saudi Arabia, Hulkenberg getting that point in Saudi Arabia, putting them, they're no longer level now with Alpha Tauri because of the thing. But yeah. Next up is Fernando Alonso. Fernando Alonso is going to get a 6. Now, this is a really tough one, because probably I don't think it was a penalty, but I also think it was unnecessary in the terms that I think he would have been safe anyway. So therefore he forced himself to get into that bad situation. He also got out qualified by Stroll, which very, very rarely happens to any of Stroll's teammates other than Sorokin. No offense to either of them. Yeah, so Alonso, and you know, he would have qualified ahead, but he made a mistake himself and damaged his car, so that's on him. Drove well up until lap 57 when he did a needless stop, caused a virtual safety car that blew Sainz's chance of getting the fastest lap, so how bloody dare you. But yeah, 6 is the most I can give. Like 2 more than the points he got. I was going to say like the points he got, but he didn't get 6. Oh well. Someone who did get 6 points is this man. He's getting a very, very good weekend. Probably out of the people who finished, probably the most dominant weekend over someone else's teammate so far this season. Ricardo was nowhere compared to him, and it would be 3-0 in the racing if the Bahrain situation didn't happen, but that's all I can really say. Next up is Lance Stroll. Lance Stroll had a good weekend. 7 I have to put him ahead of Alonso because he finished ahead, qualified ahead. Simple as that. Was quite quiet. Didn't really see him on the track loads. How far was he? I mean, he was 13 seconds off Alonso, but then the timings are a bit messed up because of that Russell incident. I can't really think of much more than that. Yeah, I haven't really got much more to say in regards to that. He just was there, got points for the team, and did well. Not much more I can say. This man, on the other hand, we're going back to last year where it's weekends where Max is either, you needed your second driver to capitalise on the chance that, my teammate's not here, let me prove that I'm good enough. He proved by getting stuck behind Russell. No, he didn't. He was just a bit ahead. He was just in no man's land, actually. He was 21 seconds off Piastri in 4th and 24 seconds ahead of Alonso. I mean, obviously that's very because of the Russell crash and people went at different speeds through there. Yeah, that's literally all I can say, really. Qualifying impeding Hulkenberg cost him. That's probably why Hulkenberg did. I did not watch Q1 because I was asleep. But yeah, that's not much I can really say. Anyway, 4th place Piastri, 7th, decent drive over the weekend. Just a tiny bit off his teammate. I say a tiny bit. In the race he was quite a bit off. Qualifying relatively close, stuck it where you'd probably expect him to, considering they were definitely the 3rd quickest car this weekend, stuck at 6th. If you are classified as the 2nd driver, that's the minimum expected, and he got that. Although he got brought up to 5th because of Perez, blah 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 blah. But yeah, decent weekend. He's happy. He's going to be happy with the 4th. Would have been 5th if Max was still going, but yeah, he'll be happy with that. Norris will put 1 lot ahead. It was just that one tier above his teammate this weekend, and pretty much, yeah. I'm really running out of words here. I don't know if he could have done much more. He was gradually catching up to Leclerc, but I'd say that's down to tyres. I think Leclerc had him covered anyway. Speaking of Leclerc's getting an 8. I was debating giving him a 9 as well, but he messed up his quali lap, and in retrospective, if he qualified ahead of Sainz, he probably would have won the race. But who knows? We don't know what's happening with team orders or whatever. We got told, Leclerc was told to hold off from Sainz, but I feel like that was whilst. I'm trying to think when Leclerc got ahead of Norris. Not that much really happened. I think it's when they both came out into the hards, I was getting a bit while Sainz was warming up his tyres. And speaking of the appendix athlete man himself, Has to be a 10. I mean, absolute 10, like your proper A star, whatever performance, you know, if he would have somehow nabbed pole. Apparently, if you look at the F1 Stats Guru account, if he set his Q2 sector 3 time, he would have been on pole. But yeah, there's not much more I can really say regards to that. Stellar weekend, great comeback, and yeah, who knows if he keeps this up. This wasn't him at full fitness. If he can do if that's his performance at partial fitness, I don't want to hype him up too much. I know what happens to my drivers after they typically have a good race. They falter off for like 9 years, and then he's never seen on the podium again. I'm pretty sure that's what happened last year, sadly. But we'll see. And Ferrari fans, it's a 1-2. Please get along. It's just being a bit of a joke at that point. But anyway, that is my list. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. I'm happy Sainz has won. And will I eventually have an early sleep? Maybe. But pardon me. I'll see you all next time. Thank you and goodbye.